mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So if you remember in the last video, I said I would take time to do two particular videos in relation to the 4 general causes of depression. So today is going to be one of those videos, and I'll be focusing on the situational causes of depression. So this is a difficult video for me to make. Why? Because it's something I do not enjoy talking about, and it's also requiring me to be very, very, very vulnerable, which is something I do not like or I'm very good at. So it is challenging me in a lot of aspects. So basically, situational depression is when certain events in your life take place and they just shift your entire world, and you fail to pick yourself up. Essentially, you struggle and you require help in order for you to get back up. This can be in the form of divorce, death, failure, job loss. It's anything, but also bear in mind that people take different situations differently. So what someone else may deem very small, someone else sees a mountain, right? So in as much as to you, a failure may not be enough to cause depression, to somebody else it's earth-shattering. It moves the entire existence. So just keep that in mind, and just keep the fact that people handle situations differently in mind and at the back of your head. So when I was 17 years old, I lost my mom. This was on the 16th of September in 2016. I lost my mom. I'm not gonna get too much into it just because I'm not comfortable. Yeah, so it's something that happened a few years ago, but it's still not something I enjoy talking about, or I'm at the place where I can talk about it and not really get emotional. I'm just not there. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. It is also going to include my religious beliefs. Why? Because they also played a role in how I ended up getting through what I went through, and also why I ended up depressed in a sense. Okay, so God, this is so difficult. Okay, like I battled last night. I was like, I'm really, 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 really scared to shoot this video. But then I was like, listen, God, it's gonna help somebody, and somebody else may be going through what I've been through, and it's not gonna be in vain. What I've been through is not gonna be in vain. So yeah, after that, I struggled quite a lot, because my mom and I had just gotten close, and the relationship was doing so good, and then but yeah, so I struggled a great deal because I was really, really disappointed, and I was angry, and I was in a lot of pain, right? Disappointed because God and I had conversations about my mom because she was sick. God and I had conversations, and I thought we were in agreement that I still need her, so I'm not ready, right? So I was really, really disappointed, and that disappointment ended up turning to anger when I was so angry at God, where I felt like he had let me down. I always talk about him. I advocate Christianity. I talk about how big and how great our God is, but he had disappointed me so deeply. So the one thing you have to keep in mind is that yes, things happen for a reason. I understand that. But it's not something you want to think of in that moment. It's not something you don't want to hear that I know the plans I have for you, and that's not what you want to hear. So another thing that led to my depression and like isolation from God was the fact that I had experienced God's grace. I had seen him work miracles and wonders in my life. And at this point, I was trying to convince myself that he's not good. I was trying to convince myself that he's not who he says he is. He's nothing to me. That's what I was trying to convince myself in my anger. But in reality, he is all that. But I was just really, 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 really angry and really disappointed. So I had that internal conflict, and it just wouldn't stop. It was constant, and this happened for months. And I am so grateful for people around me. My friend Chichi, my friend Tinashe, my family, my dad, my grannies, my sister. Those people prayed for me. When I say they prayed me back to life, let's call it that. Those people's prayers brought me back to life. But again, that in conjunction with something else did lead to that. So I was going through what I was going through, and I was angry at everybody. I was lashing out at everybody. And I would go to school, and I would be fine when I get to school. But then like something would trigger me while I was at school, and I would just start crying. I struggled immensely. But also people in my life, I'm so privileged to have gone to a school that's like a family. I'm so privileged to have had, she's now Mrs., but she'll always be Miss Dube to me. Miss Dube and the ladies from the office. Those people looked after me, and when I had those moments in school, Miss Dube would come to me, she would find me, and she would nurse me and let me express how I was feeling. So that's an important point to remember. Having an outlet, having somebody or people you can talk to and express how you're feeling. So Miss Dube for me was one of those. I really, really struggled expressing how I was feeling to my family, which is very weird considering we had all, it was our loss. It was my dad, my sister, and I's loss. I mean, obviously, and our grannies and aunts and all of that. But in our home, it was our loss. But I just couldn't. So also keep in mind that when you lose somebody, in as much as it can be the same person, that person was different people to other people, which probably doesn't make sense. Okay, so to my dad, my mom was his wife, right? To my sister, her mom, and to me, my mom as well. But even though it was our mom that we lost, our relationships were very, very different. The dynamics of our relationships were very different, which is why I say that we lost different people, right? So my dad would never ever understand how I was handling my mom's death, and Charlene to some degree would understand, but not like to the extent that I was feeling it. So I really struggled expressing how I was feeling. So then my dad ended up suggesting I take psychiatry counseling. It's a counseling center in Bulawayo. If you're in Bulawayo and you'd need me to suggest this place, it's a very, very, very good place. They are heaven sent. So anyways, so bear in mind I was juggling my mom's death and also my decision not to have a relationship with Christ, right? So I was going through all this internal conflict. All of this while still trying to get through school, all of this while still trying to maintain relationships around me, and all of this while still trying to remain sane, trying to remain okay. So it was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was 2016 to 2018 were the darkest years I've ever faced ever in my life, because like it's not like you lose one person and then that's it. There is the initial loss, which is called the primary loss, and then there's secondary losses. So that means understanding that I'm not going to be able to have my mom at my wedding. I'm not going to be able to give my kids a grandma. She's not going to be able to come for my graduation. These are all effects of that one incident. So you can understand why people struggle. It's continuous. Do you understand what I mean? Like it's not once and then it stops. So understanding all of this contributed to a hopelessness. that I just couldn't shake. I couldn't get rid of. I was struggling. And even while I was in counseling, God, it's so hard to say because not many people know this, but I was suicidal for a really long time, where I thought, I'm not coping, I'm not okay, nothing is helping, nothing is making me feel better, nothing is easing the hurt and the pain that I'm feeling. So I was very suicidal. And an example I always give the people I have opened up to about this is, I took a trip in 2016, towards the end of 2016. I took a trip to Grahamstown, that's where I live now, to visit my sister, and then we'd go home together just to spend a bit of time away from everything and everybody, and then we'd go home together. I spent some time here, and I remember we're taking a trip to Port Elizabeth. Port Elizabeth. And I was looking at this beautiful mountain range, and it was lush, it was green, it's magnificent to look at. And every time I drive that place now, I just think I came from so far, because when we were driving in that moment, I didn't see the beauty in that place. I saw it as a place I could possibly jump from. And when I tell you it was dark, it was it was dark. I struggled a lot, and I never really attempted it. I never actually attempted it. So I did consider it. I did consider different ways to do it, but I never actually attempted. And I don't know why. I just didn't. I'm still till now learning that I need to talk to people around me. So sometimes I'll have a really bad day, like Mother's Day. I'll struggle when everybody's posting about their moms, and I can't do that. I'll struggle with that. But it's not to the extent that it was in the past. I went through counseling, and when I tell you, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists are angels. Those people, those people are heaven sent. It's not because they know what you're going through. I hate that statement. I cannot stand that statement when people tell you, I know what you know. You don't know what I'm going through. But they listen. And even though you feel like I have a lot of people that have said to me that I have suggested therapy to, they've said, I feel like they're paid to listen, so it's not the same. It is 100% true, they are paid to do it, but it doesn't negate the fact that they're gonna give you tools to help you manage how you feel, your anxiety, your depression, whatever it is you may be going through. They will give you tools to help you go through that, right? So I was initially supposed to go for 6 to 8 weeks, but I ended up having to go longer because there were other underlying issues that I had to deal with that I'd never dealt with, that were also playing a key part in my grief and my depression that came from that grief. I struggled, and I'm not ashamed to say that I struggled. I'm not ashamed to say that occasionally I struggle still, where I can have a week of just not being okay, a week of a sadness in my heart that I can't explain, a week of just not wanting to talk to anybody, a week of just needing my space. So in me needing my space, I like to be by myself, which is both good and bad. It's good because it allows me to reflect on what I'm feeling. It allows me to pinpoint what it is that's making me feel the way that I'm feeling. But it's bad in the sense that when I'm left with my thoughts, sometimes I, again, entertain thoughts of suicide, right? I sometimes entertain those. Yeah. So bear that in mind. And as much as you need your space and as much as you need time alone, you also need to bear in mind the impact that has on your psyche, the impact that has on what you're feeling. That tends to shine a light on what you're going through, your depression or the sadness that you're feeling. It shines a light on it and just shows you that nothing around you is going right, that nothing around you is the way that it should be. So what's the point of being here? What's the point of staying alive? It's difficult. It's something it doesn't go away. In the case of death, it doesn't go away. It's like what I was saying, you experience the secondary loss. It does not go away, but you just need to learn how to manage it. You need to know what works for you. So for me, which sounds super silly, but like sometimes when I'm really, 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 really down, I like to do things I love. So I love doing makeup. So on a difficult day when I come back, I just sit and I just play with makeup, and that makes me feel good inside. It sounds very superficial, but it's something I enjoy doing. So for example, if you like to cook, you can cook. If you like to go to the gym, my sister is a big person that enjoys to go to the gym, a big gym, what are they called, gym junkies? I don't know what they call that. I don't do gym. That's what makes her feel better. That's what she enjoys to do. For my dad likes to play golf. My dad, he also likes to work. So it's finding what it is that works for you. So what works for me might not work for my sister, might not work for you. It's a matter of just finding what it is that gives you peace. Finding something that just, I don't want to say takes your attention off what you're feeling, because that never helps. That's like sweeping matters under the rug. I mean stuff that will cheer you up, let's call it that. Yeah, it's a learning experience. My aunt is a social worker, and I went through one of those really low dips last year. Last year was a very difficult year for me mentally and emotionally, and I was talking to her and she says, I really don't want you to take medication. Yeah, I didn't take medication, but I understand that there are those that do need to take medication, and I want you to know that that is okay. It is important to play your role in getting better. It is important for you to understand what's going to make you better. So if it's medication you've been prescribed, please take it. I've spoken to a girl on campus who takes medication for her depression, and she says, I don't love the idea of taking medication, but I know that if I don't, it's going to be dark. I know how I am without the medication, so I understand the importance of taking that medication. So basically, this is just a matter of understanding the role that you play in your betterment. And as much as there are people and institutions there to help you, you also need to play your part in getting better. So I just hope everybody enjoyed this video and takes something away from it, whether it be for yourself or for people around you. Thank you for subscribing, because I know there's no way in hell you're going to leave and not subscribe. I'm joking. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please share this video for other people to benefit from it, from other people to get something from it, so that we can grow our family and hopefully reach hands to those that need us. Thank you. So I got a notification last night to tell me that we have reached 100 subscribers, which is huge, and I'm very, very grateful.
I feel happy, I feel grateful, and I feel fulfilled.
I can't explain how much that means to me, how much it means to me knowing that my message is reaching so many people. So thank you for all of that, for subscribing, for liking, and for sharing the videos. God bless you and yours. Have a fabulous and a blessed week. Bye.